YouTube, we're one day away from the NFL draft, and Frogs Angels is here with more NFL draft coverage. This video is for the first round sleepers, maybe surprise prospects that could get in the first round that maybe we're not expecting. Maybe some of these guys you are expecting, but still, they're kind of borderline guys or surprises. So I have 10 prospects for you guys I want to break down. There could have been more, but I want to discuss these 10. There's some guys that most people expect that could sneak in there. They're borderline, maybe like a Mason Rudolph, the quarterback from Oklahoma State. A couple safeties, Ronnie Harrison, Justin Reed. People like those guys. So those would be the borderline guys, but I'm discussing other guys more in depth here. Follow our Twitter, frogs_angels, link in the description. I'll be talking draft today, the next few days. I'll be talking all kinds of draft, maybe going on some rants, random thoughts. And I said I had my last mock draft yesterday in a video, but that's probably a lie. I'll probably throw out a final mock, a final mock on Twitter. Won't have the time to make the video for it, but just follow our Twitter. All kinds of great stuff on the way there once we get to the draft and leading up this last day. But no particular order here for these guys, kind of a random order, just guys I want to discuss, starting with Jessie Bates III, the safety from Wake Forest. He's one of my favorite guys in the draft, as you know. I have a first-round grade on him, so it wouldn't be that surprising to me. I mean, you don't hear his name discussed in the first round a lot, so maybe a little surprising. A lot of teams here. So I have potential teams on the board for each one of these guys. You're going to see the same logos. You're going to see the same teams for the most part because if they're surprise first rounders, they're going to go in the late part of the first round. And these teams pick in the late first. Obviously, you have to take into account teams can trade back. Teams can trade up from the second round. I'm not here to discuss or predict who may be picking in the late first round because of trades. But you look at a lot of these teams. Some of these teams have interviewed with them. Some of these teams need safeties. I would look at I know the Panthers have some good interest. Maybe that's a little early. Look at the Steelers. I know they'll like him a lot. I think the Titans would like Jessie Bates as well, maybe a little early. So the main team I'd look at is probably the Steelers. Do I think he ends up going first round? I think he should, but there's so many guys that are more talked about than him. So it looks like he most likely will be a second round pick. But I do like Jessie Bates a lot. But yeah, these are some of the teams to keep an eye out for Jessie Bates, the safety from Wake Forest. On to another guy, Lorenzo Carter, another guy I have a first-round grade on, a guy I like a lot. I've discussed how much I love his tape versus Notre Dame. That game against Notre Dame, he dominated. And we're talking about great blocking from Notre Dame. Notre Dame was playing at a high level at that point of the season, so good game from him. Amazing game out of him from that Notre Dame game. But some teams to look at, I don't think the Titans have really interviewed him or discussed interest or shown interest in him, but I would like him in that variable defense. They can use some more pass rush, fit that 3-4 scheme. Patriots, too. I think he fits that defense, and if he fits that defense, he fits the Lions defense with Patricia over there. I know they have interest, the Lions. I know they have interest in him. Do they pick too early? Is 20 too early for Lorenzo Carter? I wouldn't think so, but maybe to some, yes. Then two wildcard teams, not really wildcard teams anymore because the Vikings and Saints have shown interest in Lorenzo Carter, which he fits more of a 3-4 team, but those are both 4-3. So how would he fit in? People assume he plays 3-4 outside linebacker, so is he going to be a DN in the 4-3? I don't know if that's the case. I think I like him staying at linebacker, 4-3 outside. It'd be very exciting to see him in that Zimmer defense, see what he wants to do with him there. That's something I would like to see. I think he's worthy of a first-round pick. It's very hard to say if he's going to go in the first or not. This one is very hard. There's so many guys everyone's discussing they should be first-rounders, but then if you tally it up, that's more than 32 guys. So it's very tough. He's going to be borderline. I think it would be a good pick. He's got a lot of upside, very athletic guy for his size. I like Lorenzo Carter there to any one of these teams if they take him. DJ Chark's another one. After the combine, he's kind of got some talk about first round, then it kind of died down a little bit. But we really don't know the receivers, like what the order is gonna be. But he's a 6'2" guy. He flies, fastest player in the draft, fastest receiver in the draft. He really can do it all. His quarterback wasn't good, and he still had good production and should be even better at the next level. So he could sneak into the first and surprise some people. Look at a team like the Panthers need a receiver. They're missing that speed receiver like they had Ted Ginn, so it makes sense to me there. Maybe a little early. Maybe they got to trade back. The Saints are a wild card team. They took Brandon Cooks when some people didn't think he was going to go in the first round. I mean, they're both speed receivers, but other than that, a little different. But they could use a guy like him. They like his speed. I think they'll be interested in him, so that'll be a wild card team. The Eagles don't really have a huge need. I think they can use a receiver of the future. I think they'll like his speed. Jags and the Eagles, pretty much the same team. They don't have a bunch of needs. Could use a receiver, could use his speed. The Bills have shown interest. If they stay at 22, I think that's a little early. And then that would mean the Cowboys would be too early too. But Cowboys, we expect to take a receiver possibly. And they could surprise us all and go with the speedy receiver. The offenses are changing. Their offense is changing with Dak, how it's going to run. They got rid of Dez, so he could fit their offense. Who knows? They could surprise us, maybe a little bit of a trade back. Who knows? On to another LSU guy, actually, Donte Jackson. Nobody's really talking about him anymore, mainly because he's probably a slot corner, but a very good one. And slot corners are used a lot in nickel packages. But he could play outside too. Very speedy. He can play the position. Only a few teams up here. Eagles lost their slot corner, Patrick Robinson, so I'd look out for them. Panthers need corners at any corner position, I think. Maybe a little too early. Patriots missed having Logan Ryan, so maybe they go for a Donte Jackson. I think Patriots will like other guys. Not that Donte Jackson's not worthy of their later pick. And the Vikings maybe looking for a Terrence Newman replacement. And Terrence Newman played in the slot along with Mackenzie Alexander, but nobody plays more corners in a single game than Mike Zimmer, so they could be looking for Jackson. I think they'll like his speed. I think he ends up going second round, but these are some teams to look out for. You know, this guy hasn't been talked about a lot lately. Sometimes those guys that were hyped up and then kind of died off a little bit, people forget about him, and they end up going in the first round, and then people are like, oh yeah, forgot about that guy. So on to this next one. Wouldn't be a surprise to most people, but I really want to discuss him. It's Dallas Goedert, the tight end from South Dakota State. I have an early second round grade on him, but being the best tight end in the class, more of today's NFL type, today's NFL offense type of tight end. Needs to work on blocking, but he's a freak. Could sneak into the first if somebody's looking for a tight end. A lot of teams on the board. Kind of why I put him on here, because I want to discuss these teams. A lot of these teams could use a tight end. You know, Panthers looking for the future Greg Olsen replacement. Eagles lost Trey Burton. He can be a great Burton replacement. Maybe not the biggest need, though. Steelers, do they value the tight end position enough these days to take one in the first? Maybe not, but they could use Goddard's talents. Saints, but you see so many mock drafts. I've seen Saints fans that want Goddard. He fits their offense. They try to get Jimmy Graham. They get Goddard instead. Makes sense. I don't know if the Saints stay put where they pick, honestly, but I don't know if they take him in the first round either, but maybe if they trade back. The Jags, they got a few tight ends, but no like solid number one guy this offseason, so they could be looking at Goddard. Again, not a lot of need, so they could take the risk. Seahawks need a Jimmy Graham replacement. Maybe they pick a little early for that, but I see them as a trade back spot. Falcons, much like the Steelers, do they value the tight end position like they used to? Do they take one in the first? Do they value it that much? I think they can use them. I think that offense would be crazy with them. The Vikings, I know they've shown interest in them. They do have Kyle Rudolph, but he's maybe not as athletic as he used to be, but still a factor. I think Goddard fits the Flippo, their new offense coordinator. Fits his offense, so it makes sense there. But I don't know if they use a first rounder on him. The Lions are the wild card team I really want to discuss. They need a tight end. I think they've done a little homework on him. I mean, even though Patricia is a defensive-minded guy, he knows how important that position could be if you see a freakish guy like that come from the Patriots. Even though he's a defensive guy, he most likely will go defense first. If not, it's probably a running back. But I would watch out for them trading back a little bit and looking at Dallas Goedert. In my latest mock, I had trades. I actually really thought about having the Lions trade back a little bit and taking Goddard. It was in my mind a little bit. Decided not to do it because I think they'll go defense. But he's an interesting to watch out for. I know a lot of you do. This isn't surprising if he goes in the first round, but it's an interesting prospect on where he will go. He could easily go early second, like I said, but we will see. Colton Miller, maybe another one that's not super surprising to people, but it kind of be surprising to me. I wouldn't touch him in the first round. He's very athletic, got a lot of upside, but he has his moments where he got Rosen killed at times. He has his moments where his technique isn't there, his footwork isn't there. I wouldn't take him in the first, but it could happen. You have to be very confident. You can coach him up. You can make him take the next step. If you are, then it makes sense because he has a lot of upside. He already has the athleticism that linemen just don't, that they rarely have. So it makes sense. I understand why teams like him. I just wouldn't take him in the first. I think out of these teams, the Patriots are probably the most interested. I guess he's a Patriots type of left tackle, and they need one as well. Some of these other teams need linemen. Are they showing interest? But Seahawks, I think, picked too early again if they trade back. I think the most likely team to take him is probably the Patriots, but I don't think he goes first, even though there's been some talk that he should go late first. We will see. Interesting guy there, interesting prospect. Billy Price, another guy, was first round talk, then he got hurt at the combine, so he fell out, but now he's starting to get back into discussion. He's very good at center or guard, plays at a high level at both. Hasn't really been hurt besides his pec injury. Does that affect him this year? These are some teams that are interested in him, and then teams that could use the position. I know the Bengals could use a center or a guard, so they're a team you see mocks with them taking Billy Price, Frank Ragnow, James Daniels. I have him going to the Bengals in my mock. So is that too early for a guy that was just recently hurt? He's supposed to be ready by training camp. I know the Vikings like him a lot. The Falcons seem to be doing homework on the center/guard guys, which there's so many of them in this class that are very good. Bill's done some homework on them, but they picked too early, so maybe they trade up in the second round. But if they trade up in the first, I don't think they trade up again. But I mainly look at the Bengals, Vikings, and Falcons here. I don't know if it's round 1 or 2. Teams overreact from injuries, even though I heard that it's not a worry for him for some reason. So I'd say early second, but it's very hard to tell for him. But again, Vikings, Falcons, Bengals are the teams I'd look out for. Could be more teams than on here. There's more teams that like all these guys, more teams than the ones I show that interviewed them. But I'm putting mid to late first teams on here. So I know there's teams that can very easily get him early second that like him, that interviewed him, that met with him plenty of times. But these are late first round surprises. So you got to put the teams up here that make sense there. Another of the same position, Frank Ragnow. He's soaring up boards. A lot of guys like him. Go watch his Alabama tape. Makes sense there. He dominated that game, which playing Alabama, it's the best team in the country. Same deal here. I'd look at the Vikings and the Bengals here. He's from Minnesota. I don't know if that has that much to do with it, but I know the Vikings like him a lot. I really have a feeling he ends up in Minnesota. I don't know why. Just a gut feeling. Do they take him in the first? I know the Vikings are a team to like to trade back. He may be gone by that pick. They may have to trade up to get him. I just made a mock yesterday and I had him in the second round, but from what I'm hearing, I'm starting to think that Ragnow goes in the first round. So we will see similar teams as we've seen Billy Price, and we'll see if we put James Daniels up here, it'd be the same teams. But James Daniels is expected to be a lock in the first. We will see. But Frank Ragnow rising up boards. People expect him in the first. Josh Sweat from Florida State, the edge rusher. It wouldn't surprise me if he went in the first, but a lot of people, when I have him in my mocks going first, a lot of people seem surprised by that. I mean, when do you see a freakish edge rusher like this guy? Very productive, too. I don't know. People don't think he's productive. He's very productive. People worried about his injuries. It happened in high school. He's been playing since then. So, sure, it's a little bit of a concern, but nothing anywhere near recent. The two teams I have at the top here, the Seahawks and the Titans, they've shown a lot of interest in Josh Sweat. The Seahawks have surprised us before with draft picks. Where they sit, they can take them. But again, I think the Seahawks are a trade-back team. And some wild cards are Panthers, Saints, and Patriots. But I'm mainly looking at the Seahawks and the Titans. Be something to see if he slips to the second round. A guy that people are split on. Some people will have him top 20 on their big board. Some people will have him like late second round. So I'm not too worried about his injury. He checked out this offseason. Checked out okay at the combine. Hasn't been hurt in a while. I like Josh Sweat. Freakish guy off the edge. And then one more. Terrell Edmunds. Jason LaCanfora from CBS reporting that teams expect both the Edmunds brothers to go in the first round, which Tremaine is a lock. But I was surprised to see that people expect Terrell to go in the first as well. Very good safety. I had a early third round grade on him. He can play. Safety class is good. Guys are going to get pushed back. I don't think he goes first round. I think he can go second or third. But if he were to go first round, here's some teams that I put up on the board that could use a safety. It's really hard to pick a team. I think the Jags will like him. I don't think they go with him in the first, though. I think the Steelers will like him as well. But I don't know if he goes in the first. These are some teams I just thought have a chance to take a safety in the first. They could use him. Maybe too much like Cyprien for the Titans. So I don't know if they go that route. They could be looking for a safety. Maybe it's a guy that plays in the box. Very good player, but I don't know if I see him in the first. Was very surprised to see that teams are expecting him to go in the first. I don't know why that would be smoke if it is the case. So it's weird. It's a weird situation there. I do like Edmonds, but I don't see him in the first. Again, I don't see it, but it's going to be a fun draft. A lot of surprises I expect. So maybe one of these guys, or I expect a few of these guys to end up slipping in there into the first. Who will it be? Give me your guys' thoughts. Any more sleepers you guys think? And there are some guys that could be considered sleepers, like I named. There's a few safeties. There's Mason Rudolph, quarterback. Does a running back like Nick Chubb slip in? I don't consider Sony Michel or Ronald Jones like a surprise if they go in there. Always talk about quarterbacks. As a Luke Falk slip in there. That's something to discuss. You don't expect it, but you never know with the quarterbacks. So very interesting debate there. But again, follow our Twitter, frogs_angels. Link is in the description. We're gonna be talking draft. Haven't been talking too much. Been busy with these videos, but we're gonna start talking on there. It's getting good. It's getting good this time of the season. One day away to the draft. We got some more coverage to come. More videos on draft days. After the draft, we got you covered. Plenty of NFL here at Frogs Angels. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. That'll do it. Goodbye.